Why do we suffer? To understand this, we must first define what suffering is. If we try, we will find that neither the definition of suffering nor the magnitude of its intensity is easy to specify. Suffering is a spectrum of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that we feel or suspect that others would feel in certain circumstances. When we address suffering, we associate it with it a whole range of existential and non-existential, material and non-material conditions for which we presume to bring suffering. These would be conditions such as hardship, homelessness, starvation, pain due to serious disease or personal loss, physical and psychological injuries, but also conditions caused by something as mundane as a lower social level or a lower standard for living. In short, all situations in which we suspect that we would suffer, we define as general suffering, and we attach an absolute value to it, assuming that our assessment has some degree of objectivity. With this, we make some circumstances or events synonymous with the suffering and assume that others perceive it the same way. Even we often feel suspicious when we hear that the people we believe are suffering in reality do not suffer or only begin to suffer after our interference. We find hard to accept that all of it is only our subjective assessment, our personal opinion, which is determined solely by our own emotions, thoughts, and experiences, and that neither our perception nor our definition of suffering can be absolute or objective. Without this insight, the assessment of the extent to which others are suffering is not only subjective, personalized, and highly biased, but may cause further suffering too. Although we cannot always judge how much others may suffer, whenever we find ourselves in an unfavorable situation, our suffering is judged to be high. Regardless of whether the situation is realistic or not, our own suffering feels always very real to us. We experience it even then when we cannot verbalize it, or when we cannot track down underlying thoughts and emotions. In general, we can suffer even then when we do not describe our condition as suffering.